Hello and welcome. This is Yunus Khan and welcome to a new episode of Read Out Loud. This is the season 1 of Read Out Loud, and in this season we are reading out loud the book Mindset, written by Stanford professor Dr. Carol S. Dweck. I have said about the book and about the author in the previous episode. This is the episode 2, and if you didn't watched the episode 1, then I highly request you and suggest you to watch the episode 1 first and then come back to this episode. That will make sense. In the first episode, we have talked about a little bit about the author and also the introduction that the author written about the book. Now, in this session or in this episode, we are going to start the chapter 1, the mindsets. This is the chapter 1, the mindsets. If you see the contents, then we have introduction here, which we have read in the previous episode, and also I have talked about my perspectives and points very briefly in the previous video. I hope in this video I will also talk about my perspectives as well. So before that, let's dive into the chapter 1, the mindsets, and let's start reading it. Before starting to read that, I want to make sure one thing, that this is basically not an audiobook. This is simply I am reading a book loud and thinking about it and sharing my knowledge, my insight, my perspectives and points. That so it's basically we are in a chill moment. We are together and we are just reading something and sharing the knowledge. It's definitely not a audiobook. So with that said, and also one more thing to acknowledge, that is, excuse me for any external noise if anything bothers you. I don't have a suitable environment right now, but probably very soon I will make one. My room is airtight, but still a lot of noise comes from the outside. I live very nearby from a highway and a railway track. That's why I always get terrible amount of noise. So if any noise comes, probably I will not stop, and probably it will create a little difficult, or maybe it will create a little weird sound, but please excuse me for that. It's definitely not my fault, but I will use acoustic panels very soon in my room, but till then, please excuse me. So with that said, let's start the chapter 1, the mindsets. When I was a young researcher just studying out, something happened that changed my life. I was obsessed with understanding how people cope with failures. I decided to study it by watching how students grapple with hard problems. So I brought children one at a time to a room in their school, made them comfortable, and then gave them a series of puzzles to solve. The first ones were fairly easy, but the next ones were hard. As the students grunted, perspired, and toiled, I watched their strategies and probed that what they were thinking and feeling. I expected differences among children, how they coped with their difficulty. But I saw something I never expected. Confronted with the hard puzzles, one 10-year-old boy pulled up his chair, rubbed his hands together, smacked his lips, and cried out, "I love a challenge." Another, sweating away on these puzzles, looked up with a pleased expression and said with authority, I was hoping this would be informative." "What's wrong with them?" I wondered. "I always thought you coped with failure, or you didn't cope with failure. I never thought anyone loved failure. Were these alien children, or were they onto something?" Everyone has a role model, someone who pointed the way a crucial moment in their lives. These children were my role models. They obviously knew something I didn't, and I was determined to figure it out, to understand the kind of mindset that could turn a failure into a gift. What did they know? They knew that human qualities such as intellectual skills could not be cultivated, and that's what they were doing, getting smarter. Not even weren't they discouraged by failure, they didn't even think they were failing. They thought they were learning. I, on the other hand, thought human qualities were carved in stone. You were smart or you weren't, and failure meant you weren't. It was that simple. If you could arrange success and avoid failures at all costs, you could stay smart. Struggles, mistakes, perseverance were just not part of the picture. Whether human qualities are things that can be cultivated or things that are carved in stone is an old issue. What these beliefs mean for you is the new one. What are the consequences of thinking that your intelligence or personality is something you can develop as opposed to something that are fixed, deep-seated trait? Let's first look on the age-old, fiercely waged debate about human nature, and then return to the question of what these beliefs mean for you. Why do people differ? Since the dawn of time, people have thought differently and definitely. Why do people differ? Since the dawn of time, people have thought differently, acted differently, and fared differently from each other. It was guaranteed that someone would ask the question of why people differed, why some people are smarter and more moral, and whether there was something that made them permanently different. Experts lined up on both sides. Some claimed that there was a strong physical basis of these differences, making them unavoidable and unalterable. Though, through the ages, these alleged physical differences have included bumps on the skull, which is studied in phrenology, and the size and shape of the skull, or craniology, and today, genes. Others pointed to the strong differences in people's background, experiences, training, or ways of learning. It may surprise you to know that a big champion of this view was Alfred Binet, the inventor of IQ test. Wasn't the IQ test meant to summarize children's unchangeable intelligence? In fact, no. Binet, a Frenchman working in Paris in the early 20th century, designed this test to identify children who were not profiting from Paris public schools, so that new educational programs could be designed to get them back on track. Without denying individual differences in children's intellects, he believed that education and practice could bring about fundamental changes in intelligence. Here is a quote from one of his major books, Modern Ideas About Children, in which he summarizes his work with hundreds of children with learning difficulties. A few modern philosophers assert that an individual's intelligence is a fixed quantity, a quantity which cannot be increased. We must protest and react against this brutal pessimism. With practice, training, and above all, method, we manage to increase our attention, our memory, our judgment, and literally to become more intelligent than we were before. Who's right? Today, most experts agree that it's not either. Or It's not nature or nurture, genes or environment. From conception on, there's a constant give and take between the two. In fact, Gilbert Gottlieb, an eminent neuroscientist, put it not only do genes and environment cooperate as we develop, but genes require input from the environment to work properly. At the same time, scientists are learning that people have more capacity of lifelong learning and brain development than they ever thought. Of course, each person has a unique genetic endowment. People may start with different temperaments and different aptitudes, but it is clear that experience, training, and personal effort take them the rest of the way. Robert Steinberg, the present guru of intelligence, writes that the major factor in whether people achieve expertise is not the fixed prior ability, but purposeful engagement, or as his forerunner Binet recognized, it's not always the people who start out the smartest, but who end up the smartest. What does all this mean for you? The two mindsets. It's one thing to have pundits spouting on their opinions about scientific issues. It's another thing to understand how these views apply to you. For 30 years, my research has shown that the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. It can determine whether you become the person you want to be and whether you accomplish the things you value. How does this happen? How can a simple belief have the power to transform your psychology and, as a result, your life? Believing that your qualities are carved in stone, the fixed mindset, creates an urgency to prove yourself over and over. If you have only a certain amount of intelligence, a certain personality, and a certain moral character, well, then you would better prove that you have a healthy dose of them. It simply wouldn't do to look or feel deficient in these most basic characteristics. Some of us are trained in this mindset from an early age. Even as a child, I was focused on being smart. But the fixed mindset was really stamped in by Mrs. Wilson, my 6th grade teacher. Unlike Alfred Binet, she believed that people's IQ scores told the whole story about who they were. We were seated around the room in IQ order, and only the highest IQ students can be trusted to carry the flag, clap the erasers, or take a note to the principal. Aside from daily stomach aches, she provoked with her judgmental stance. She was creating a mindset in which everyone in the class had one consuming goal: look smart, don't look dumb. Who cared about or enjoyed learning when our whole being was at stake every time she gave us a test or called on us in a class? I have seen so many people with this one consuming goal of proving themselves. In the classroom, in their careers, in their relationships, every situation calls for a confirmation of their intelligence, personality, or character. Every situation is evaluated. Will I succeed or fail? Will I look smart or dumb? Will I be accepted or rejected? Will I feel like a winner or like a loser? But doesn't our society value intelligence, personality, and character? Isn't it normal to want these traits? Yes, but there's another mindset in which these traits are not simply a hand you're dealt and have to live with. Always trying to convince yourself and others that you have a royal flush when you are secretly worried about its pair of tens. In this mindset, the hand you're dealt is just the starting point of development. This growth mindset is based on the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts, your strategies, and help from others. Although people may differ in every which way in their initial talents and aptitudes, interests, or temperaments, everyone can change and grow through application and experience. Do people with this mindset believe that anyone can be anything? That anyone with proper motivation or education can become Einstein or Beethoven? No, but they believe that a person's true potential is unknown and unknowable. That it's impossible to foresee what can be accomplished with years of passion, toil, and training. Did you know that Darwin and Tolstoy were considered ordinary children? That Ben Hogan, one of the greatest golfers of all time, was completely uncoordinated and graceless as a child? That the photographer Cindy Sherman, who has been on virtually every list of the most important artists of the 20th century, failed her first photography course? That Geraldine Page, one of the greatest actresses, was advised to give it up for lack of talent? You can see how the belief that cherished qualities can be developed creates a passion for learning. Why waste time proving over and over how great you are when you could be getting better? Why hide deficiencies instead of overcoming them? Why look for friends or partners who will just soar up your self-esteem instead of ones who will also challenge you to grow? A quick thing, this is really important. This sentence right here, why look for friends or partners who will just soar up your self-esteem instead of ones who will challenge you to grow? Definitely don't make friends or be partner with those people who will just soar up your self-esteem. Rather be partner with the people who will challenge you to grow, who will push you to grow. Another thing I can say, that there's a famous quote you might have heard or read, that someone said, "Show me your friend and I will show you your future." So this is really important. Be friend and partner with those people who will push you to your growth, who will, from whom you will learn a lot. And please don't be friends with those people who will just soar up your self-esteem and will make you a worse person over time. So yeah, this is a really important thing, and this is one of the biggest things that I have learned from this book. Let's continue. And why seek out the tried and true instead of experiences that will stretch you? The passion for stretching yourself and sticking to it, even or especially when it's not going well, is the hallmark of the growth mindset. This is the mindset that allows people to thrive during some of the most challenging times in their lives. A view from the two mindsets. To give you a better sense of how the two mindsets work, imagine as vividly as you can that you are a young adult having a really bad day. One day you go to a class that is really important to you and that you like a lot. The professor returns the midterm paper to the class and you got a C+. You're very disappointed. That evening on the way back your home, you find that you have gotten a parking ticket. Being really frustrated, you call your best friend to share your experience but are sort of brushed off. What would you think? What would you feel? And what would you do? When I asked people with a fixed mindset, this is what they said. I would feel like a reject. I'm a total failure. I'm an idiot. I'm a loser. I would feel worthless and dumb. Everyone is better than me. I'm lying. In other words, they would see what happened as a direct measure of their competence and growth. This is what they would think about their lives. My life is pitiful. I have no life. Somebody upstairs doesn't like me. The world is out to get me. Someone is out to destroy me. Nobody loves me, everybody hates me. Life is unfair and all efforts are useless. Life stinks. I'm stupid. Nothing good ever happened to me. I'm the most unlucky person on this earth. Excuse me, was their death and destruction, or just a grade, a ticket, and a bad phone call? Are these just people with low self-esteem or hard-crying pessimists? No, when they aren't coping with failure, they feel just as worthy and optimistic and bright and attractive as people with the growth mindset. So, how would they cope? I wouldn't bother to put so much time and effort into doing well in anything. In other words, don't let anyone measure you again. Do nothing, stay in bed, get drunk, eat, yell at someone if you get a chance. Eat chocolate, listen to music and poet. Go into my closet and sit there. Pick a fight with somebody. Cry. Break something. What is there to do? You know, when I wrote the vignette, I intentionally made the grade C+, not an F. It was a midterm rather than a final. It was a parking ticket, not a car wreck. They were sort of brushed off, not rejected outright. Nothing catastrophic or irreversible happened. Yet, from this raw material, the fixed mindset created the feeling of utter failure and paralysis. When I gave people with the growth mindset the same vignette, here's what they said. They would think, I need to try harder in class, be more careful when parking the car, and wonder if my friend had a bad day. The C+ wouldn't tell me what I would have to work. The C+ would tell me that I would have to work a lot harder in the class, but I have the rest of the semester to pull my grade off. There were many more like this, but I think you get the idea. Now, how would they cope? Directly. I would start thinking about studying harder or studying in an effective way. For my next test in the class, I would pay the ticket and I would work things out with my best friend the next time we speak. I would look at what was going on, my exam result to do better, pay my parking ticket, and call my friend to tell her I was upset the day before. Work hard on my next paper, speak to the teacher, be more careful where I park or contents the ticket, and find what's wrong with my friend. You don't have to have one mindset or the other to be upset. Who wouldn't be? Things like a poor grade or a review from a friend or loved one, these are not fun events. No one was smacking their lips with relish. Yet, those people with the growth mindset were not labeling themselves and throwing up their hands. Even though they felt distressed, they were ready to take risks, confront the challenges, and keep working at them. So, what's new? Is this such a novel idea? We have lots of saying that stress the importance of risk and the power of persistence such as nothing ventured, nothing gained, and if at first you don't succeed, try again, or Rome wasn't built in a day. By the way, I was delighted to learn that the Italians have the same expression. What is truly amazing is the people with a fixed mindset would not agree. For them, it's nothing ventured, nothing lost. If at first you don't succeed, you probably don't have the ability. If Rome wasn't built in one day, maybe it wasn't meant to be. In other words, risk and effort are two things that might reveal your inadequacies, and so that you were not up to the task. In fact, it's startling to see the degree to which people with a fixed mindset do not believe in putting in effort or getting help. What's also new is that people's ideas about risk and effort grow out of their more basic mindset. It's not just that some people happen to recognize the value of challenging themselves and the importance of effort. Our research has shown that this comes directly from the growth mindset. When we teach people the growth mindset with its focus on development, these ideas about challenge and effort follow. Similarly, it's not just that some people happen to dislike challenge and effort. When we temporarily put people in a fixed mindset with its focus on permanent traits, they quickly fear challenge and devalue effort. We often see books with the titles like The 10 Secrets of the World's Most Successful People, crowding the shelves of bookstores, and these books may give some useful tips, but they're usually a list of unconnected pointers like take more risks or believe in yourself, while you're left admiring people who can do that. It's never clear how these things fit together or how you could ever become that way. So you're inspired for a few days, but basically the world's most successful people still have their secrets. Instead, as you begin to understand the fixed and growth mindset, you will see exactly how one thing leads to another, how a belief that your qualities are carved in stone leads to a host of thoughts and actions, and how a belief that your qualities can be cultivated leads to a host of different thoughts and actions, taking you down an entirely different road. It's what we psychologists call an aha experience. Not only have I seen this in my research when we teach people a new mindset, but I get letters all the time from people who have read my work. They recognize themselves. As I read your article, I literally found myself saying over and over again, "This is me, this is me." They see the connections. Your article completely blew me away. I felt I had discovered the secret of the universe. They feel their mindsets reorienting. I can certainly report a kind of personal revolution happening in my own thinking, and this is an exciting feeling, and they can put this new thinking into practice for themselves and others. Your work has allowed me to transform my work from children and see education through a different lens. Or I just wanted to let you know what an impact on a personal and practical level your outstanding research has had for hundreds of students. I get lots of these letters from coaches and business leaders too. Self-insight, who has accurate views of their assets and limitations. Well, maybe the people with the growth mindset don't think they're Einstein or Beethoven, but aren't they more likely to have inflated views of their abilities and try for things they're not capable of? In fact, studies show that people are terrible at estimating their abilities. Recently, we set out to see who is most likely to do this. Sure, we found that people greatly misestimated their performance and their ability, but it was those with the fixed mindset who accounted for almost all the inaccuracy. The people with the growth mindset were amazingly accurate. When you think about it, this makes sense. If, like those with the growth mindset, you believed you can develop yourself, then you are open to accurate information about your current abilities, even if it's unflattering. What's more, if you are orienting towards learning as they are, you need accurate information about your current abilities in order to learn effectively. However, if everything is either good news or bad news about your previous traits, as it is with fixed mindset people, destruction almost inevitably enters the picture. Some outcomes are magnified, others are explained away, and before you know it, you don't know yourself at all. Howard Gardner, in his book Extraordinary Minds, concluded that exceptional individuals have a special talent for identifying their own strengths and weaknesses. It's interesting that those with the growth mindset seem to have that talent. What's in store? The other thing exceptional people seem to have is a special talent for converting people's setbacks into future success. Creativity researchers concur. In a poll of 143 creativity researchers, there was a wide agreement about the number one ingredient in creative achievement, and it was exactly the kind of perseverance and resilience produced by the growth mindset. You might be asking again, how one belief can lead all this? The love of challenge, belief in effort, resilience in the face of setback, and greater and more creative success. In the chapters that follow, you will see exactly how this happens, how the mindsets change what people strive for and what they see as success, how they change the definition, significance, the impact of failure, and how they change the deepest meaning of effort. You will see how these mindsets play out in school, in sports, in the workplace, and in relationships. You will see where they came from and how they can be changed. Well, that's it in the first chapter of the mindsets. The chapter was the mindset 2, and there is 2 pages of shaded note, or you can say this 2 tests on the last 2 pages of this book, which author has offered us, and we definitely will check this out. So let's see the shaded part. Grow your mindset. Which mindset do you have? Answer these questions about intelligence. Read each statement and decide whether you mostly agree with it or disagree with it. Okay, so you got the rule. Now let's read the first statement. Your intelligence is something very basic about you, and that you can't change very much. So first of all, tell me what you think. Do you agree with this, or do you don't agree with this in the comment section below. So let's talk about it. So what we have learned in the chapter is there's basically two kind of mindsets: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. The people who have the fixed mindset thinks that I am a certain amount of intelligent and I can't change it. I can't change how intelligent I am. Rather, maybe I can prove myself. Maybe I can use hacks and tricks to prove myself that I am so intelligent, but only I know that how much intelligent I am. I am very less intelligent, or I am very very much intelligent, but this intelligence is limited. I can't increase it, or it will be never decreased. This is the fixed mindset. And the fixed mindset people always fears challenge, because whenever a challenge comes in front of them, they think that, oh my god, there's a challenge and now I have to prove myself. How do I gonna do that? And they use their brain to create a path how to tackle with the situation to prove themselves. Rather, in the growth mindset, the thing is, people believe that I have a certain amount of intelligence, and through my practice, my studies, my ways of learning, I will definitely increase my intelligence. My intelligence isn't a certain thing, it will increase, and which is definite. This is scientifically proven that intelligence isn't a certain thing. Intelligence will increase by your strategies, by your studies, by your training, by your ways of learning. So whoever thinks like a fixed mindset is definitely wrong, and there are a lot of consequences for the fixed mindset. And every people who have fixed mindset should learn that how they can change their mindset from fixed mindset to the growth mindset. The growth mindset people, whenever comes in front of a challenge, they don't get anxious, or they don't get confused or anything like that. Rather, they just enjoy that now I'm going to learn something. Probably I will do mistake in the challenge, probably I make out the challenge, but at the end I'm gonna learn something. So the people with the growth mindset never stops learning, and they love learning, and that is the thing which keeps your brain healthy. That is the thing which keeps your body healthy indirectly too. So let's read the first statement, the number one statement. Your intelligence is something which very basic about you, and you can't change it very much. So this is the thing I just said, that there are the fixed mindset people who believe that intelligence can't be changed. Intelligence is a fixed thing. So if you think that, then you definitely have to change that. You have to disagree with the first statement. And if you think that no, I believed in it and I agree on it, why you're telling me to disagree, then gentlemen, you have to disagree with this, because this is the purpose of this book. The purpose of this book is to the people who have the fixed mindset, or the people who have the mixed mindsets, can be changed to the growth mindset, because the growth mindset actually grows you, and the growth mindset have a lot of benefits, and the mixed mindset and the fixed mindset both have consequences respectively. So you definitely have to change. For now, just change your vote to agree to disagree. Just disagree the first statement, and as we will go further into the book, you will your insight will get increased, and you will learn the thing that why author is telling you to disagree that and to agree the others. So for the first statement, we're gonna disagree that. Let's read the second statement. It says, you can learn new things, but you can't really change how intelligent you are. So what about that? Think about it. It's a little confusing, but it's actually, I disagree with it. I don't believe that intelligence can't be changed. It is well proven by science that intelligence changes. So there's no argument to agree on this. Simply, you can think of it like this. Intelligence isn't a trait. Intelligence isn't a genetic trait. It's, although some genetic traits do make some difference in intelligence, do help in intelligence, but on the top of it, the entire intelligence isn't a trait. It's basically a state of your neurons. It's basically a health of your neurons. So how you can increase this, how you can increase this health of your neurons, it's basically when you study, it's basically when you put logic to your neurons, it's basically when you get knowledge, you get insight, then simply your intelligence increases. So definitely you can learn new things and you can definitely change how intelligent you are. So we're gonna disagree with the second statement as well. Let's read the third statement. No matter how much intelligence you have, you can always change it quite a bit. Well, it's a little confusing for me because the thing here, she said quite a bit. I don't agree with this part only, but I think that no matter how intelligent I am, I can always change it as much as I want. But it will definitely need some work, but yeah, I can change it a lot. So, but on the top of the thing, we have to agree on this third statement, because yeah, we can change it quite a bit. We can also change it a lot, but we can also change it quite a bit. So no matter how much intelligence we are, we can always change it quite a bit. So we agree with the third statement. Alright, so let's read the fourth statement. It says, you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Definitely. So this is the utmost statement which we have discussed till now. You can always substantially change how intelligent you are, and this is the actually conclusion of this chapter. So yeah, we agree with the number 4. Now let's see what author said about it. Question number 1 and 2 are the fixed mindset questions. Yeah, and we disagreed with it. Question number 3 and 4 reflect the growth mindset, and we agreed with it. Which mindset do you agree with more? Definitely the growth mindset. So that's why I'm saying, if you agreed with the 1 and 2, then you have the fixed mindset and you have to change it. You have to change it to the growth mindset. So that's why I definitely recommend you and request you to go along with the season and watch the entire playlist. So let's see what she says further. You can be a mixture, but most people lean towards one or the other. Actually, on this topic, I can also say that I am kinda a mixture. Mixture in the sense, I don't have a lot of things from the fixed mindset, but I have one thing, that is sometimes I try to prove myself, and I hope this happens to a lot of people. I don't do this all the time, but sometimes I will give you the reason, but sometimes I try to prove myself, or I just fear of losing, or I just fear of doing the wrong or saying the wrong, or I just fear the failure sometimes. This reflects a little of the fixed mindset. So it's basically like I have 10% of fixed mindset and 90% of the growth mindset. And yeah, I definitely love to learn all the time. I have all the qualities of growth mindset, but a little of the fixed mindset, and I definitely need to change that. I hope that as we go along with this book, I will also learn how to change that. And about the reason, so I basically do this in my the tuition classes, and where there are some guys who just make fun out of people, especially for example me. So they basically make fun out of me whenever I do any mistake, or whenever I whatever I do, they are just behind me, just making fun out of me. In 99% of time I just ignore, but sometimes when you have some mistake and someone is making fun out of it, maybe it's a little difficult to cope with. So that's why sometimes whenever teacher asks me anything, then if I just get scared about if I do some mistake, if I give any wrong answer, that maybe they will make fun out of me, and that little hits me. It's very little bit of a fixed mindset, but it's because of those idiots. But anyways, I hope that I can in the future resist these kind of people more effectively than now. But let's continue. So you also have beliefs about other abilities. You could substitute artistic talent, sports ability, or business skills for intelligence. Try it. It's not only your abilities, it's your personal qualities too. Look at these statements about personality and character and decide whether you mostly agree or mostly disagree with each one. So there's 4 more statements. Again, it's another test. This test is about your personality and character, and the previous test was about the mindset. So let's see what the statements are. You are a certain kind of person, and there is not much that you can be done to really change that. Well, we just discussed this. Sorry about the noise. Okay, so we just discussed about this. So we are a certain kind of person and we cannot change this. Well, this is the statement. First of all, I don't agree with it. I think that we definitely can change our personality. So in the previous test we seen, or in the entire chapter we seen that we can change our intelligence. Now think about it. If you can change your intelligence, will not your personality be changed? Let me give you an example. When you have less knowledge about science, physics, chemistry, biology, this kind of stuff, and general knowledge, or like common sense, or like critical thinking, this kind of things, when you don't have this kind of thing and something weird happens to you, like you're traveling in a train and suddenly a door shuts off without anyone touching it, it shuts off. You are in your room and suddenly your door shuts off. You will just shout up that ghost. But if you then get the knowledge of science, you adopt that intelligence, and then you also get critical thinking. These qualities, then whenever your door will shut up, you will think, well, there was wind. Whenever in the train the door will shut up, you will think like, oh, that's inertia. And you like simply what kind of person you are changed. Your mentality changed, your reaction changed, your emotion changed. First you have a fear on the situation, now you have enjoyment on the situation. So definitely if your intelligence can change, your personality also can be changed. Now let's we're disagreeing with the first statement. Now let's have a look to the second statement. No matter what kind of person you are, you can always change subsequently. Yeah, that's the thing we concluded. So yeah, definitely we're gonna agree with the second statement. Now let's have a look on the third statement. You can do things differently, but the important parts of who you are can't be really changed. Well, this is a little confusing and should be a little bit talked more. So let's have a thought that yeah, we can do things differently, or we can think things differently, like we have seen in the previous example that I gave. So the thought process, when you got the knowledge of inside of the science, you said like it's not ghost, it's inertia, it's not ghost, it's wind. But when like you are thinking things differently, but the important parts of who you are can't be really changed. So what is important parts of who you are? So the important part of who you are is the things, is the maybe the traits that determine your characteristics or determine your identity. For example, a person who is really angry, like he usually really angry than other people. So that's actually a genetic trait of him or her. So can this be changed? Simply we can say like the genetic, we can see like these things, the important parts of who we are can be like who we are, these things are actually genetic traits. But before going to that, let's think that if you were a very angry person in the past, in maybe your childhood, then can you change it? Can you change to a peaceful and more critical thinking person in the future? Well, let me share my story. So the thing is, I was a very, very, very young kid, angry kid before. So when I was literally a kid, I was very angry. I used to do fights all the time, like in any situation, all the situation, like my first thing was a punch, kick, and those things. But one day, what happened, I just punched, beated, and like a lot a guy in my class, and his teeth was almost to break, or maybe I hit him on his eyes, and the eyes were like injured, not very much, but it was injured for that day. And I just realized that what if for my anger someone loses their very, very important abilities? What if I was in his position? What if my important abilities loses for someone else's anger? So that the day I realized it, and within seconds, literally within seconds, my personality completely changed. Before that, I was like a very, very angry kid, and on that moment, within seconds, I became like a monk. I literally became like a monk, and till date I'm like a monk. I don't fight, I don't do this shit. I always believe in peace and cooperation and these things. I'm definitely not a monk, but I have the thoughts of like a monk. Well, so yeah, the conclusion is definitely the important parts of who we are really can be changed. And yeah, as I said before, we can see that these important parts of who we are actually genetic traits. And we all know, if you know a little biology, then you know that the genetic traits can be changed. It's called mutation. And so definitely we can do things differently, and also the important parts of who we are also can be changed. So we are disagreeing with the third statement. Let's have a look on the fourth statement. You can always change basic things about what kind of person you are. Yeah, definitely we can change basic things about what kind of person we are, and we can change everything actually. So we have to agree with the fourth statement, so we agree. Now let's have a look what C says. Here, questions 1 and 3 are the fixed mindset questions, and the question 2 and 4 reflects the growth mindset. Which did you agree with more? Well, we actually agreed with the number 2 and 4. We agreed with the number 2 and 4, and 2 and 4 reflects the growth mindset. So we have the growth mindset. But if you don't have the growth mindset and you have the fixed mindset, then follow along with the season so that you change your mindset to the growth mindset, because the fixed mindset have indeed consequences in your life, in your relationship, in every part, every corner of your life. But in the growth mindset, you will actually get a lot benefit. You will get happiness out of it. Okay, so let's see what C says further. Did it differ from your intelligence mindset? It can, but for me it don't, but for you it can. Okay, your intelligence mindset comes into play when situations involve mental ability. Yeah, like puzzles and games, for example. Your personality mindset comes into play in situations that invoke your personal qualities, like for example speaking abilities, speaking skills, like these things. For example, presentation, meeting with somebody, this kind of thing. For example, how dependable, cooperative, caring, or socially skilled you are. The fixed mindset makes you concerned with how you will be judged. The growth mindset makes you concerned with improving. I hope you understand that. Well, like for me, like I'm doing a lot of mistake in punctuating things, or maybe sometimes I read something wrong, which could result in criticism or badly judging me. But I don't care about these things. What I care is, as we will go further into the book, as I further present these things in front of you, I will improve. So that's the reflection of the growth mindset that you have to understand. I can't simply just record these videos with hours and hours and hours, and then I can edit these videos very nicely so that my faults couldn't be in front of you guys, and that can make me more less judged. But I literally don't care about that. Rather, that time is more important for me. So I'm just recording whatever the duration of this video will be, maybe a little more or less for the breaks in the middle, but yeah, it's basically it. So I'm focused on the improving section. Okay, let's go ahead. Here are some more ways to think about mindsets. Okay, there's there's 3 bullet points over here. So let's have a look on there. Think about someone you know who is steeped in the fixed mindset. Well, I'm thinking about someone. Better you also think about someone. Think about how they're always trying to prove themselves and how they're super responsible about being wrong or making mistakes. Did you ever wonder why they were this way? Are you this way? Now you can begin to understand why. Well, the person I'm thinking about doesn't have this thing. Like they don't try to prove her all the time, but she have the fixed mindset. She have the fixed mindset in the sense of she believes that every people have intelligence, certain amount of intelligence, and it cannot be increased. She hates studying and all that things. So yeah, she have the fixed mindset, and I'm thinking about her, but she don't like try to prove herself. Maybe she does, but maybe she don't in front of me. Okay, so let's go for the second bullet point. Think about someone you know who is skilled in the growth mindset, someone who understands the important qualities can be cultivated. Well, I'm thinking about one of my greatest friends, and he's a programmer. He's basically a scientist. So he's awesome. He's like an awesome dude, and he is one of the person who changed my life in terms of like a nice influence on me. Okay, so yeah, definitely, bro, it is awesome. Someone who understands the important qualities can be cultivated. Think about the ways they confront obstacles. He basically Googles everything, reads the articles, reads about any obstacle that he have, and then like he understands, research about that, and then he just tackle the obstacles. Think about the things they do to stretch themselves. Like he always studies in the sense of fun, like whatever he have interest on, he just studies. Sometimes he's also studying about religions, politics, and also sometimes he is on Clubhouse listening to other people. Sometimes he is in Discord talking to other people, and sometimes he is just reading books and articles, blogs to increase his intelligence. And sometimes actually a lot of time he is just playing cricket in the ground. So he's definitely doing these kind of things to stretch himself. Also he smoke, but that's definitely maybe not stretching. I don't recommend you to smoke. I don't smoke, and he also don't recommend to smoke. But yeah. What are some ways you might like to change? What are some ways you might like to change or stretch yourself? Well, I definitely will take all of the things that my friend have. I actually do all that thing except the cricket. I definitely don't have any physical activities right now. I want, and I will probably get some physical activities very soon, and I will take all of the things that my friend do for stretching himself, except the smoking one. Smoking and drinking. Well, let's have a look on the third bullet point. Okay, now imagine you have decided to learn a new language and you have signed up for a class. A few sessions into the course, the instructor calls you in front of the room and starts throwing questions at you, one after one another. This is a weird time. Put yourself in a fixed mindset. So why I said this is a weird time, because there are some people who just will soar up your self-esteem, who you shouldn't be make friends. But sometimes you have friends from very childhood, and like they soar up your self-esteem, and probably they are on the same class, and they're like, whenever you do something mistakenly, whenever you do something wrong, they just will make fun out of you. You definitely should ignore this kind of things, but you can ignore 99% times, but 1% of time there is a fear, there is a direct hit to your heart, to your mind, and that's dangerous. But anyways, we have to cope with it. There will be this kind of people in your entire life. Actually, you should thank these people in the class, because they are making you practice of your life. So yeah, let's go ahead. Put yourself in a fixed mindset. Your ability is on the line. You can feel everybody's eyes on you. Can you see the instructor's face evaluating you? Feel the tension. Feel your ego bristle and waver. What else are you thinking and feeling? Now, put yourself in a growth mindset. You are a novice. That's why you are here. You are here to learn. The teacher is a resource for learning. Feel the tension leave you. Feel your mind open up. The message is, you can change your mindset. Well, this was the conclusion of this video. The chapter. You can change your mindset. Also the video. Well, let me drink a little water. Well, so this was for the second episode of season 1 of Read Out Loud. In this season, we are reading out. No. Again, in this season, we are reading out the book Mindset from Stanford professor Dr. Carol S. Dweck, and I hope you are enjoying this book along with me. This book has really deep lessons from a long research of the author and her students. So let's keep this nice job up, and I will again make these videos, and whenever I read the book, I make videos and I will post this in the channel. And thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up, comment down below your thoughts, and give me some suggestions about running the channel. I definitely need your suggestions. And also, let's discuss about the topic in the comment section as well. And share this video. The most important thing is to share this video. Share this video to the ones who will get benefit out of it. Don't think that I am getting the knowledge, why I will share this video to another who will get the knowledge. When you get knowledge, give the chance to somebody else to get that knowledge too, so that we together can make a better society. A better society can't be made out of one intelligent person out of 100 idiots. So we all have to be smart, we all have to be intelligent. That's how we're gonna make a intelligent society, a better society, and a better world, better planet. That's we dream. Well, thank you for watching this video, and definitely subscribe the channel if you didn't, and press the bell icon. You will get a notification. And if you don't want to press the bell icon, then you can do another thing, that is, I have created the playlist of the season 1 mindset. So just go and save the playlist, and then you can simply just open up YouTube and go to your saved playlists, and can see this playlist and see that any video is up or not. And that's how you can keep up with it. So yeah, that was advice from me, and thank you for watching this video, listening to me, whatever. And yeah, another thing is I will probably share the audio of these videos into the Spotify, probably. That will make a little difficult to understand, because as I am moving around my mouse over here in the PDF, which makes a little sense to what we are doing here, but probably there are some person who want only to listen to the audio, so I will also put this in Spotify too. So thank you for watching this video. I don't know how many times I said this, but well, I'm so sleepy. Okay, so you will hear me in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, stay home, and keep increasing your intelligence. Thank you. Bye bye.